Welcome to another episode of Growing E-commerce. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Ryan.
My name is Chris.
The other one of our hosts.
The other one.
So, Chris, you got a haircut.
I knew it. Yes.
No.
I knew it.
That's good.
Somebody got a new haircut.
It's quite, you've trimmed a lot. It's very Roman look, right?
Man, you know what? I'm 41 years old. And I think this is an age where you have to do everything in your power to look as sharp as possible. My hairdresser convinced me that short hair just make you look younger.
Okay.
And for me, then it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Make it as short as possible.
Yeah, all right. Trim it.
Trim it.
So Chris, I saw you. At first, I had this sinking feeling in my stomach because I got a glimpse of you out of the corner of my eye, and I saw that your hair was dramatically shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And are you familiar with the Edgar cut?
No, what is it?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to send you an image. The Edgar cut, I didn't know. I just found out what this is called, and I'm really proud of myself for even knowing. But I was like, "What is this hideous haircut that the young people have?"
Is it similar to a buzz cut or
Kind of. It's hard to describe.
Okay.
It looks like someone made a mistake.
Okay.
But the first time I saw one of these, I was like, "What is wrong with that guy? He definitely cut his own hair." And then I realized that.
Honestly speaking, give me honest feedback. Do you feel like my hairdresser made a mistake?
No.
It looks
good. Looks good. But I it's funny because I was musing to myself on the bus ride in this morning. I was like, you know what? Because I feel like a lot of things haven't changed that much. Fashion, I feel like this stuff is actually, everyone talks about accelerated culture, but to me, some things are slowing down.
Massively.
And and I was like, actually, but now with like these barrel leg jeans, if that means something to you, the Edgar cuts, and these young people are really choosing, to me, these are avant-garde decisions.
Yeah, there are a lot of young people running around on the streets where I'm like, but again, I'm 41. I'm old. Where I'm like, holy shit! I just hope that I wasn't running around only remotely crazy when I was young.
You were.
You're sure about that?
I was wearing cargo shorts, and cargo shorts were the barrel jeans. Cargo shorts, by any objective measure, are hideous.
Okay,
as hideous as barrel jeans. But
by the way, I had the craziest short I have was a FUBU, which baggy jeans. Yeah. And I can remember the discussions I had with my father back in the days. He literally, he was sure about that it was the wrong decision. He was right. Look back now. But I pushed through. I wore it for roughly a year, and then I don't know. I realized that there are better ways to dress. Yeah. You know FUBU?
Yeah. Let me guess. You had the saggy jeans with the boxers,
of course,
hanging
I was
up.
Massively into basketball, and I wanted to be.
Of course.
Yeah, but man, what's up for today? Second to last episode, or is it? Yes.
Yeah, we're no, that's not right. We'll have one more.
One more.
Yep, and then we'll.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we'll have we'll wrap up the year. So this is our third to last episode for the year, and we are going to talk about Black Friday.
What else?
Yeah, Chris and I were talking about doing a Black Friday episode in the run up to Black Friday, but it's hard to be really sharp because you can just talk about guesses, expectations, and we thought it would be more interesting to just look at the numbers once they land.
Guessing is over.
Yeah, exactly.
The numbers are here. Exactly. And we have the Lord of the numbers sitting in front of me.
Well, I prepared a few things.
I had a look at it, by the way.
All right, glad
you don't call me, off guard. There's some interesting stuff in there.
I think so too. I mean, let's start zoomed way out, because we're gonna zoom into the hourly level at one point. But by how zoomed out do I mean? I prepared a 20-year view of peak Black Friday search volume. This is Google search volume in the US. We're mostly going to talk about European data, but I think to properly understand what's happening with the overall trajectory of Black Friday, you need to look at the country where it all started.
Where it all started,
in the US, yeah.
A lot of great ideas come out of the US.
Some bad ones too.
But Black Friday, I think in general, is a good idea.
Well, we'll find out when we look at the performance, Chris.
Yes, that's true. And Mike, it loses, as it seems, a bit of steam.
A lot of steam. I mean, it's hard. We don't have a counterfactual here, but and we'll throw this up on the screen for viewers. We'll throw up all these charts on the screen for viewers, but let me describe it to listeners. We've got a bar chart from 2005 through 2025, and it's basically the peak search volume of that year for each year. And you can see that the trajectory of Black Friday, I mean, it precedes, it's older than 2005, of course, but it was really just gaining steam every year, basically, right through when it peaked in 2018. And then,
and guess what? I think a lot of retailers thought this is gold. It will never stop.
It's just going to keep the numbers just going to keep going up. And I mean, in some ways, like the sales volumes do somehow every year. You know, they're
and
always
costs, but we talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. But when we're looking at the search volume, it dipped a little bit in 2019, but something dramatic happened in 2020. It just fell off a cliff.
Which is really crazy. What do you think? And by the way, the interesting thing is, once it fell off the cliff, as you see on the chart, it never recovered. Quite the contrary can be observed, that there is now a downwards trend, more or less. But before we talk about the reasons for the downwards trend, I would really be interested in, I mean, 2019, 2020. What was the reason for this massive drop? What do you think?
I mean, I think there were probably some structural things going on with Black Friday that we might start to see in 2019. But then in 2020, there was lockdown. So there was the pandemic, there were these store closures, store restrictions. And so that to me explains the massive drop there. And we're talking the volume nearly fell in half. It's crazy. So that to me is because a big important half of Black Friday, the stores just fell away.
Because Black Friday is not just an online phenomenon.
Yeah, right? we always focus on
we focus on
we have tunnel vision almost on
Black Friday. Yes, of course.
But of course, and you know, it originated with the doorbusters, and you know the cliches of people getting run over at 4 a.m. waiting for some electronic store to open.
And by the way, I love this video. I love this videos. I mean, there are rough videos where people really get hurt, but there are these videos where people wait to get in, to get, I don't know, a new PlayStation or a new Xbox. I love it.
Gonna end up under the Christmas tree, you know, but that's also yeah. So that's this, but I think, you know, we saw that there were these, like, you know, there was also a massive leap in e-commerce penetration in 2020, but then things regressed to the mean over time. And like the question to me is, we don't have a counterfactual for what would have happened with Black Friday, but I think that it was going to start trending down anyway, and because why didn't Black Friday return? Okay, there were the store closures, but why didn't it return? And if we think about those doorbusters, that's something that doesn't really exist anymore, not in the way that it did. Like, these would be deals that were limited in quantity.
Only Black Friday and limited.
Exactly. Only Black Friday. That's the only day the whole year you're going to get this deal. And you have to be there at that store. You have to be one of the first people. And that is just gone now.
That's gone.
The deals are categorically different in nature.
Yes. Let's face it. It's certainly... There's a Black Friday inflation, maybe also kind of if you call it, the people are maybe even a bit tired, you know.
Sure.
Because it's not that pointy anymore. As when we talked about that before, there are hardly any deals which are just there on Black Friday. So this by design will, of course, cause, I don't know, a negative effect on the peakiness of Black Friday. However, for me, this still doesn't explain this massive drop within 1 year, because I can't imagine that from 1 year to another, the retailers began to, I don't know, have Black Friday deals not just on Black Friday, but let's say for the whole month of December or November. This massive drop is still, I don't know, big unknown to me. I mean, can be hardly explained with the pandemic for sure, but it's, like I said, almost 50%.
It's really steep, and you would have expected some kind of rebound, but
it's not there.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting, I looked at some other queries, like Black Friday opening hours, Black Friday store hours, different kinds of things like
Same
this.
Story.
Yeah, that are related to offline, related to local search, and you could see that even preceding this, there was already kind of a let's call it a secular decline, and so I think these are the structural factors. I think that there was something happening. It was maybe already this inflection point had occurred, but was maybe just becoming visible to us in 2019, and then well, we're just talking about this. Meanwhile, this new phenomenon, Black Friday week, Black Friday month, Black Friday decade,
why not?
Black Friday century. Yeah, but this really dilutes it. And also competing sales events. More recently, in the past few years, Amazon has a fall Prime Day event. Singles Day is something. So I just think that all this comes together to form this picture.
By the way, one of our bigger clients, EMAC, one of the bigger online retailers in Eastern Europe, they just created their own Black Friday. I think 2 weeks before the Black Friday.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 weeks before.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there plays a lot into it that the Black Friday as one day loses this let's say peakish character, but I would have assumed just not that steep of a decline. And by the way, if you look at the years 2020 onwards, it's more or less stable with a slight downwards trend. So I think this certainly can be explained with this longer and longer discount periods.
Yeah,
but this falling off a cliff is for me it's really it's crazy. Hard to explain.
I think the counterfactual here would be you'd see this slight downward trend that we're seeing now, and it would be, if the pandemic hadn't happened, it would be from that 2019 level. But the pandemic did happen.
Would make more sense, by the way. Huh?
Yeah,
the pandemic happened.
We all regret it.
Yes, yeah. What wasn't the best time I had in my life? But
well, and I was personally responsible. I'm sorry, I was in Wuhan that day. No, I shouldn't joke about.
You were patient here. Yeah. Now we know it.
Someone's shaking their head and giving me a stern frown right now. So
no, it was a crazy time for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
But what else do we have, Mike?
Yeah, let's
now
move.
It gets interesting.
Yes. So that was our zoomed out view. Let's zoom in. I prepared some data here that looks at the basically the volumes in terms of impressions, clicks, and orders. Also revenue and spend. So looking at those volume numbers for the day. Exactly, year over year. And then to help, because you can get a wrong impression when you look at those alone. So for each of those, I've also added a rate or a ratio to help give a picture about the efficiency, what was going on there. Yeah, I'm proud of this one.
I love it.
Thanks.
It's a powerful chart. A lot of things to discuss.
For sure. I mean, if we walk through it, if we look at these kind of the funnel here, the impressions and the clicks and the orders, we see that impressions were up 13% year over year. Clicks were up 6% year over year, and then orders looking pretty respectable, up 23% year over year. Wow. That's a lot. Yeah,
well, it was a great Black Friday.
Yeah, at what cost?
At what costs?
Because revenue, here's the first sort of sign of trouble. Revenue, so conversions were up 23%. Revenue was only up 15%. And
driven by smaller baskets.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because average order value was down 6-7% year over year. And the biggest number of all is,
by the way, good for Google.
Yeah, good for Google. Good for earnings.
Looking forward to the
earnings call. If you're an Alphabet stakeholder,
I'm not. You are?
I'm not. No, I have no skin in the game.
I was thinking about it, looking at these numbers. Maybe I change your mind.
Yeah,
no, but, I mean, Mike, let's I don't call it what it is. This is a perfect picture for Google because the spend grew by 31.4%.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mainly driven by way higher CPCs. We talked about that. By the way, we had this awesome live tracker. What was going on?
Yeah, definitely
during Black Friday.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it. I was like, What is happening with the CPCs?
Yeah, we've been plugging the Market Observer on some recent episodes, and just one more plug because we every once in a while just get a crazy idea and we just do it. We put in a hourly live tracker.
What was going on Black Friday? It was an awesome live tracker. But ladies and gents, the picture is I would say a mixed bag. I mean, yes, there was more orders, there was more revenues. By the way, at smaller baskets on average, which is in general not a good thing because it probably costs your absolute basket margin.
Yeah.
But the major thing is the spend drove the growth.
Yes.
To a relation which is just unhealthier than the year before.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, on here we have like the CPM, which is not so relevant for shopping and PMax ads typically, but for what it's worth, it was up 16%. So that visibility costs more.
30% more spend for roughly 15% more revenue.
Yeah, but the figure that's not on here is the return on ad spend, and that was down 12% year over year.
A logical consequence.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mike, the good old conversion rate bump of 16.1% year over year, as crazy as it sounds, because this is not the best possible picture some could imagine, but the increasing conversion rate saved the day.
Yes, that was the saving grace because basically every efficiency metric is in the red except for conversion rate, and that was really the saving grace. So the demand was there. The problem was, as I see it, I really think there was good consumer demand, but I think that the advertiser demand was just, or the supply of advertisers was just higher.
Yes, and the CPC increase throughout the year. We talked about that.
Exactly.
Probably the biggest nagging problem for anyone being active now in Google in particular. This is the CPC is ruining the party, because else, like you said, the demand was there, people were buying, all good signs, but at way higher costs.
Yes. So this was it was the price of competition.
Yes.
So that's a picture.
Very interesting. Huh?
Yeah. And by the way, like the volumes, this sounds about right. Like I think overall volumes for Black Friday were not up this high, but e-commerce was up. I think I was reading 12% from Salesforce or Adobe, and so seeing the revenue at about 15%, it seems right to me in this channel. That's what we saw in these shopping channels. But to look behind the scenes a bit, this is I did something new this year.
Crazy chart.
I have never done this before, but I looked at the average gross profit margin, and from October 1st to get a feeling of the baseline through November 30th. And what you can see is that the average was, I think strictly speaking, the average was like 34.6, but it was right about 35%. And that's
benchmark.
Yeah, that's kind of benchmark. I think you'd probably see a lot of places list that as a benchmark e-commerce gross profit margin. Yes. And I think above 30%, it always depends on category.
Yeah.
But that's probably considered healthy above 30%. Mm-hmm. And that's where those numbers were with a little fluctuation. Then really you start to see the first signs of trouble. Is still the first week of November was maybe still within a standard deviation or something like that. But the second half of November, it just starts falling, and particularly that final week of November. Yes. And so it's down like 9 percentage points to, like 27% from where it had been. Yeah.
No big surprise if we go circle back to the slide before, and that it just cost way more money to get my revenue as an online retailer.
And it's the discounting
pressure, and exactly this is which is coming on top, right?
Yeah.
There's this massive discounting.
They're the channel things that are occurring, and then also what the business
discounting. Yeah. If you want to join the Black Friday party, it's not possible without the discount, and the discount periods are getting longer and longer, right? I mean, we talked about this. This is on the one hand, I don't know, making the Black Friday just less of a special day. And just to put it in perspective, we talked about in one of our last episodes, the Black Friday is still the biggest day in the year, but it has been bigger before.
Yeah.
So this this discounting combined with just the pressure within the, let's say, Google ecosystem. So for me, it's no surprise there.
Yes.
The bigger question here I would have, Mike, is, I mean, it's not a super smart question, but I think an obvious one. Let's assume you are now the owner of an online shop, and let's assume that your war chest is not miles deep, and you have a limited budget for the year.
Yeah.
What are you doing with, let's say, Black Friday and Black Week? Because you know by design that the orders and revenue you get during this couple of days, week, will be probably, from a cross margin perspective, not as attractive as the time before or after.
Yeah.
What would you do? Because I think this is a question a lot of online retailers might have, right?
Yeah.
Do I want to join the party? Yes or no?
Yeah. It's it's not a dumb question, and I think it's non-trivial to answer as well.
For sure.
I mean, it's always been a devil's bargain. Economists have been criticizing Black Friday for all 20 years of that chart that I showed before. Is this actually generating new demand? Are these advertisers acquiring new customers, or is it just concentrating the existing demand into a promotional bloodbath where margins are lost? And it's really, I think, not. I mean, that probably is what's going on, but what are you going to do? Like back in the day when the peak was much more acute and it was much more an event with boundaries, if you didn't participate, you probably were like, the demand was being concentrated. Then you have to be there if you want to be visible for that demand. And now that it's become so borderless, it's hard, because what does it mean to not participate when there are people running these promos all month? Adobe, I think I can't remember if it was Adobe or Salesforce, but they had both of them were running some dashboards with different numbers.
Discounts?
Yeah, but there was an average discount, and it was like 26%. And I think that peaked at Black Friday, but people have been running, the discount has been high all month, and it's they're just intensifying. And so what does that mean to not participate? Now
it doesn't stop.
What, am I going to take the month of November off?
Yes. Or December? Because let's face it, right? It's the statement of having a borderless Black Friday. We talked about when we joked about it, right? Black Friday, Black Week, Black Month. What is it? Black Quarter.
Yeah.
So this is a fair question, right? Okay, I just don't join Black Friday, but is the situation post Black Friday that much better, right?
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is, and this is, of course, I mean, the online retailers should know their numbers, but if you see, let's say, you look at the last 5 years and you see that the demand for your assortment is not falling off a cliff post Black Friday, and I would still assume that the discounting pressure is at least a little bit less post Black Friday, and you see, okay, I have a limited budget. I know that there's still demand after Black Friday. I think it could be interesting to have some strategies, not to put all eggs in one basket, right? And that's what a lot of online retailers do. They focus very, very much on Black Friday, which is by design a bloodbath. But it's, I think it's a very, very tricky question.
Yeah.
The gross margin, however, I mean, this data is, by the way, ladies and gents, just to be clear, we looked at more than 150 accounts. This is an aggregated number.
Yeah.
So of course there are outliers, and some players did better than others.
For sure. This is it's an average. It's a fictional number in the end.
But the average tells a story. You just buy revenue at a significantly lower gross margin. It's
Yeah, and I mean something. Or maybe it's actually, let's jump into hourly.
Yeah, of course.
Because we still have a couple more.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where we're on time, but I just want to look at this hourly chart with you here, because I think it tells a really interesting picture. I have put revenue share, like hourly revenue share, hourly conversion rate, and hourly cost per order or cost per acquisition next to each other, and then heat map them. And what I think is interesting is that all three of them have a different pattern, a different kind of intraday seasonality, hourly seasonality. but it reflects something about consumer behavior, I'm sure, and maybe something about also the auction environment. But I want to reflect afterwards. Did you shop on Black Friday, by the way?
Yeah, I was the one person shopping at 3 a.m.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I didn't. Honestly speaking, I did.
Yeah.
But looking at this intraday analysis, I understand the patterns to a certain degree, because it probably would map to my shopping behavior.
Yeah.
The revenue share so there's
well, let's put it out. Yeah. Walk us through, Chris. You want to tell us what you see?
Of course, yeah. Because so what you see on the chart here is split into basically an hourly view, and we have the revenue share, the conversion rate, and the cost per order. And you can see basically the development of the revenue share, if we can start with that one. No surprise there. There is a certain peak, I would say, around pretty prototypical shopping hours, which is, let's say around 6 p.m. to, 9, 10 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a certain peak in terms of revenue share. This is something I can relate to, because it's post-work, you have some time, the kids are in bed probably, and you do your shopping. So nothing surprising here.
And we should mention, by the way, like, I think in the US, more people have Thanksgiving is a holiday. A lot of people take Black Friday off, or they have it off. But in Europe, that's not the case. People are working.
That's not the case. Absolutely. So this is that there's a peak in revenue share, let's say around the 7 to 10 p.m. mark. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. What's interesting is that the conversion rates, right, behave a little bit different to a certain degree. Mike, what's your take on?
Well, sure. Well, they peak really early in the morning. It's kind of bimodal. They peak really early in the morning, actually around 5 a.m. And it's a very high conversion rate that we picked up there. It's like 10.6%, and that might be a bit somehow skewed because it's not a huge data volume that's in there. That's only less than 1% of the revenue for the day. But I think that I'm really split here. It's like, should you go in there and advertise and capture that conversion rate? On the other hand, I bet these are people, they've been shopping all week long. They know, they've chose what they want to buy. They know the product, they've done the research, and they're the early birds. They're doing that because they want to make sure the deal doesn't run out, or the stock doesn't run out, or they have to squeeze that purchase in quick before work, or whatever. Yeah. And I actually think that is very low incrementality in the morning.
It's low incrementality. At the same time, Mike, we discussed about this, is what's an existing client, what's a new client.
Yes.
It's demand, and I want the demand to be captured.
That's the thing. They've decided what product they want to buy, but maybe they don't care who it's from.
And I think that's why they jumped onto Google, right? Because else they would probably jump to your website directly. Yeah. So I would say, looking at these numbers, these high conversion rates in these early bird shoppers, it makes sense because they probably know what they're looking for. They want to do the shopping before work, I assume. So I think this is, seems like a good idea to also be active very, very early in the morning. Yeah,
definitely.
From a demand capturing perspective.
And then there's a second peak, and it's even more acute and later than like the volume peak from 7 to 10, let's say. This conversion rate peak is really at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And that's the oh shit people. Yeah. That's the urgency is back. The urgency is back. Yeah. They're like, Black Friday is ending. I've got to buy. And
that's happened to me many times.
Yeah. And you could, I mean, I think probably there are also people, maybe they've been waiting all day, looking around, considering, but this is prototypically me. Chris, am I everything's prepared well in advance person, or am I a last minute crunch person?
Oh, you're putting on a stuff.
No, you can say it like it is, Chris.
No, I don't want to.
I'm a last minute crunch person. It's fine. So yeah, that's me right there. So I mean, we see that the conversion rate has this early morning and late evening, these peaks.
It makes sense.
And then cost per order behaves differently than either of those, where it has a peak, it has a midday peak. It's kind of a bell curve across the day, if you can imagine that. It really ramps up and ramps down at noon. And That to me, I don't know what to think about that.
That's a tricky one. Yeah, that's certainly a tricky one. I don't know what to make of this one. It's certainly interesting. I wouldn't have expected that to a certain degree, because I thought, there's more density, especially in the evening, and that probably drives also the cost per order.
Yeah.
Hard to say, honestly. But certainly interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that this is driven by the competition piling on, and
lower conversion rates. I mean, you see, right?
Yeah, the volume is really sizable through the whole midday. The conversion rates are kind of stuck in the middle, and everyone's competing for that volume.
Yes.
And I think, there could be, probably when I look at this, the greatest opportunity that I see is that cost per order is cooling down in the late hours of the day, and the revenue share is still sizable, as we said. The conversion rate is good, as we said, and I don't know if people are running out of budget at that point.
It's certainly a thing, man.
But I think it's really worth pushing hard.
Yes.
Yeah, and making sure you're there. Sorry.
That's what I want to say. Balance the budget and be there when it counts. And I mean, basically, it should count the whole Black Friday.
Yeah.
But based on that number, it's certainly important that you have a big enough war chest for the late hours. Yeah, because that's where volume is still there.
Yeah.
High conversion rates and the cost per order. It seems like the most appealing one. Yeah.
And this could be a failure of Google's bidding models as well, by the way, because the question. Okay, Google knows that conversion rate increases on Black Friday, but I don't know what they've built behind the scenes. Do they have? You think they have enough data that they could build an intraday model for it? But is it that the algorithm is seeing the typical hour of day? And what is it?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's to me the window of opportunity.
Yes, that's something how you could read this chart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly very, very interesting. Can we zoom in a bit more than hourly rate? Maybe next year, right?
No.
Okay, the answer is
no, I can't. But
last chart.
Yes, but hold on. We said I'm a last minute crunch person, Chris, and I want to tell you an anecdote here.
Okay.
Sample size of one. This whole Black Friday thing has become so blown out with like the lack of a peak and stuff like that, that I just had a very busy weekend, to be honest, and I knew that the deals weren't going anywhere, and I did one big purchase this year on Black Friday. It was a robotic lawnmower. Yes.
Man. This is something this is something I have to tackle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier than later. I missed out on that.
And
but I assume the discounts are still there. Anyway. Right?
No, well, I did this in the late evening hours of Cyber Monday, because that's when the deals were actually expiring. Because I knew the deal wasn't going anywhere. And I was just busy. And then finally I had time, and the urgency was high enough, and I finally converted.
Yeah, and by the way, makes sense. Looking at the chart here, Mike, it makes sense. You're the one person, you knew what you were looking for. You jumped on Google, high conversion rate, revenue share, and efficient cost per order. So again, I think this is the window of opportunity to have this open budget on Black Friday if possible. If not, be there when it's these late hour shopping time period.
Yeah, and get the late birds on Cyber Monday too.
Exactly. be there as well. There are a lot of my grinds out there.
Yeah.
Last chart.
So last chart for today. Okay.
Also an interesting one.
Yeah.
Bit of a zoom out now again.
Exactly. I mean, you can see the daily level in there too, but I want to show what happened with competition levels, and I chose two of our favorites on this podcast.
You were called Mr. Teemu for a reason.
Yeah, I chose Amazon and Teemu, and again, this is European data, so Amazon is absent in the U.S. still.
I still can't believe
it. We broke that store in the summertime, and they're still gone. But Amazon, they just ramped from October 1st through November 30th, and they'll probably keep building in strength as far as
increasing the pressure.
Yeah, I don't think that there's no Black Friday bump there in them. They're just going to keep ramping and ramping, I think, and they're about as dominant as they've ever been.
Yes.
So we're talking about the percentage of advertisers facing competition, and it's like 85%. And I do a little bit of a filtering in here too. I mean, the number could be, if I would be a little less strict about it, the number would be even higher, to be honest. But I do a little bit of filtering in here.
But by the way, this is not a bigger surprise, right? I mean, Amazon has been this continuously chose this continuous approach throughout December and November, December.
And actually, if we look at this pattern from last year, it's pretty similar to what we saw last year. And so what Teemu did, you can see that they have been kind of easing out, lowering their spend
quite significantly.
All November long, quite significantly. All November long. They were very comparable with Amazon in October. And now they reduced to down to a level of about 50% of advertisers. We're seeing competition from them. And then right at Black Friday itself, only 1 in 4, and that's very
significant drop.
Yeah, it's extremely significant.
Reason for that, Mike? Anything on the news here, or?
No, I mean, again, last year, I think this is even more extreme than last year, but I think they figured out that Black Friday doesn't work that well for them. I think they figured out that they have problems with, as the holiday season goes on, with shipping deadlines and stuff like this, with the holiday cutoffs, because they've built up some of their local fulfillment, but a lot of their stuff does take longer to arrive.
And maybe the CEO said, "Hey guys, our gross margin is negative anyway."
I know.
What to expect on Black Friday?
Discount. We can't discount any further.
Let's make it easy.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
But one really notable thing happened, and part of the picture is not visible here because I excluded AliExpress.
AliExpress.
Yeah, and you can see the full data set on Market Observer. But in mid-November, Teemu had a really acute drop. And so at that point, I was wondering what's going on here, because at the same time, AliExpress jumped up massively. And it wasn't clear to me what was happening or how or what. Yeah, I couldn't tell, okay, is Teemu drastically reducing? Is AliExpress drastically increasing? A little bit of both. And I think it was a little bit of both. Teemu had this plan to wind down in November. But then what happened is that AliExpress, for Singles Day, massively turned up their advertising pressure. And I didn't know if AliExpress was going to be pushing hard all through November. That's not what happened. It
was just this one day.
Yeah, it was a campaign. It was, a couple days before and after Singles Day. They pushed really, really hard. If you're not familiar with Singles Day, yeah, neither am I. Or I'm hardly.
You're not a singer.
No, well, it's become. I mean, I am familiar. It's a fascinating holiday. Do you know about Singles Day, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's something special. Was it invented by?
It's a Chinese holiday, and it might have been invented. I don't know, by JD or Alibaba.
I think so. Yeah,
one of these. Yeah, they started it.
Yeah,
and it was like kind of an anti-Valentine's Day at first.
But it's an Asian thing, or originates from?
It's originally from China and from East Asia, but somehow it became a major sales event, and then it's starting to, they're trying to make it happen in other markets as well. Okay. So stop trying to make Singles Day happen.
By the way, what's your prediction? Since Black Friday loses steam, will be there something new?
Maybe we need Singles Day
in Europe or is it US, right?
I don't know, Chris. It feels like I don't know where this is headed.
There will one day there will be black year.
Yeah, I just imagine, like, if Black Friday gets kind of the stink of death around it. It depends what the vibe is here, and people right now, they're unsure. Is this discount genuine? The urgency is gone. This discount is a week. It's a month. What? I think it feels, as a consumer, it feels really weird.
Yeah,
it's not what it used to be.
The question about is the discount really genuine? There was this great meme from LinkedIn. I don't know who shared it. I think it was Mr. Decker, I think, who shared it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies, Braveheart. Like, scene where you hold on Wednesday, hold on Thursday. Like this one scene, famous scene when they fought the English knights, and and then on Friday, let's go, and basically it's the same price. They just came from a different starting point, which has never existed. So I think this like how genuine is the discount? I think it's a very very real thing. It's a very real thing.
Yeah, and this is probably, if we want to talk predictions, and maybe we'll do that in the final episode of the year too. Let's see what we have on the agenda, but I think price transparency is going to be a major theme in 2026. I think consumers demand it, and the platforms are like, I look at price trackers all the time. I look at in Europe there's Idealo. I don't know how you would say that in English. Idealo. It sounds funny, doesn't it? But but this is a big value proposition of agentic commerce in the first place, is tracking prices, acting on prices when a real price drop happens.
Yeah, with AI in some way, shape, or form.
So it's one of the early use cases. Amazon's doing it, Google's doing it, and so I think that question could get resolved in the year ahead, which is interesting. Like, it's a great proposition as a consumer, and it's a terrifying proposition,
super terrifying
as a retailer or a brand.
By the way, we have to show the meme.
Okay, yeah, we'll get on there.
Let's make sure. Yeah, I laughed my ass off. It was really, really good one.
Yeah.
Mike, man, this was longer than planned, right?
Oh boy, there's a lot of data. So
Black Friday, yeah, it's worth it.
Yes.
What's the summary? What's the exec summary?
The exec summary was that we hit the numbers at a cost, at a terrible price. No, really, the advertisers seemed motivated to spend. I think they kind of brute forced this. The demand was there, but the competition was even more there, and it was to be honest, I think everyone talks about the revenue figures, and it was a good year, but it was at a cost.
Came at a cost. Yeah.
Yes, really.
The concept of diminishing returns with regards to, of course, in that context, I think gross margin. It's just every euro growth you realize this year came at different cost level. And I really hope that there is some way of a turnaround with the CPC development, because I'm really worried. I'm not kidding. For these middle of the pack online retailers, they're doing a great job, but the watch is just limited.
Yeah.
CPC is directly eating into gross margin.
Yeah.
Unless you have some I don't know, revenue you can pull out of your head with regards to your conversion rate, but this is not that easy. So I hope for, honestly, a different picture next year. I would be very happy with maybe similar revenue numbers to this year, but at lower costs, for instance.
Yeah, same. I mean, just that improved efficiency. Yeah, I used to say, it's time to stop worrying about CPC so much. Let's focus about your value per click, your revenue per click. But that was then, and like CPC is a topic right now.
It's a topic, and for what it's worth, and they probably won't care that much, but I talked to high Google reps, and they asked me what is the one big concern I have, and I said, look guys, it's not even about us as a partner for our retailers. Of course, yes, we care a lot, but I think it's also potentially threatening the long-term overall business model of Google if they lose this middle of the pack online retail, right? This backbone.
Yeah.
And I think the high CPCs increase the pressure so much. So I hope to see a slightly different big picture next year.
Same.
Looking forward to hopefully an episode then next year.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's aim for it.
Let's aim for it. Let's aim for the stars, Chris.
Mike, it's outro time.
Let's kick
it off. No one
can
do it better than you.
Let's kick it off and kick us out.
Yes.
All right.
It's time.
Yeah. All right. This has been another episode of Growing E-Commerce, brought to you by Smarter E-Commerce, also known as SMEC. To learn more, visit smarter-ecommerce.com, where we have all kinds of great free tools and resources like Market Observer. And
see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Again, if you enjoy this podcast, please give us a shout out, share it with a friend. We really appreciate it.
And give me a feedback with regards to my haircut.
Yeah.
I'm a bit unsecure now, man. But you like it, right?
It's not the Edgar cut. It's fine. I thought it was an Edgar cut. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, man.